Welcome to the 50th episode of Feed the Trolls. And who would have thought that Thorin would have put up with me for this long, that we could get to 50 episodes before he decided that I was too soft and nice to people and decided to kick me and do another show. So, Thorin, thank you for sticking in Feed the Trolls.
I don't know that my problem in the industry was people were too nice and soft in the past, and that's why I had to kick. I feel like it was usually the other angle on that one. They turned against me. But sorry, you still got a couple of years.
I still got a couple of years before I turn against you, so you're all good. Let's just hold that on. And joining us for the 50th episode, which is huge, and this one, all credit to Thorin, we've got Taz with us. When he told me, I read it 3 times and didn't believe him. So Taz, thank you for giving up your time to come on the show. We really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. It's a little bit, tricky for me to be here. I'm a little bit afraid, but hey, let's see.
It's all good. Here's the thing people won't know, though, Tech Girl, is because Taz is old school. In the old school, everyone talked to everyone and everyone was at events. And even people who were rivals discussed things at the after party, etc. So he's not made of paper or glass. He can handle a little bit of criticism. And also, I did actually genuinely, when I suggested the topic, let's talk about some of the misconceptions around what coaching is like what do coaches actually do? What do we get when we get those snippets from comms? The thing is, I actually do think it's a good topic. It's something I've brought up many times on my talk shows, because I do feel like essentially, as a way to bridge into this topic, Sam, I do feel like people actually work in reverse. What they do is, if they've already decided you're a brilliant coach, you can say anything in the timeout and it's just going to be interpreted as brilliant. Whereas on the other way around, if they've decided you're a bad coach, anything you say will be taken as stupid. So I thought it was one of these interesting things where, first of all, there is actually a lot more we can all learn who don't do the role. And then secondly, I think there's a lot of obvious misconceptions that fans have there. They're just doing sort of wrestling narratives in their head or something like that,
I'm going to get into trouble for saying this, but fuck it, let's just go right ahead, right? Don't you find it interesting that if a coach sets up a YouTube channel or videos themselves and then they speak through strategies, they're not even giving anything away about their strategies or their team. Not. But then they become the greatest coach of all time and everyone talks about how great they are. And I sometimes wonder, Taz, do you think that the fan service helps as a coach if you're kind of playing into the fans and walking through all of those things and trying to show them that you quote unquote know the game? That tends to help with fans kind of being behind you and supporting you no matter what?
I think definitely it helps, and it just builds a good picture of you as a person, and also it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't have to be always your idea for the game. You can show the other teams how they play. You can explain it in a very straight manner. And there is a lot of players, young guys on forums or playing Counter-Strike who don't know the basics. So for them, when they have an option to listen to some of the coaches that go to this tier 1 events, it's something big, and definitely it helps. And I think it's good overall for a scene, right? But it just builds a little bit of weird narrative that if you don't have a YouTube channel, then maybe you are in a worse position. But I don't like to think this way. I think that there is way more impact from you guys than from coach having a YouTube channel.
By the way, though, along those lines, though, I want to ask in your particular case, though, I always got the vibe, a bit like when you were a player, you're more old school in that sense, too. I get the sense from Taz, if Taz is the coach, then you believe in that concept I believe in, which is everything stays in the locker room, as it were, you don't sort of tell too much. Whereas I would say, actually, if anything along these lines, Taz, I feel like it's the opposite now, because everyone has all these loser interviews, and they have these interviews between matches, and people even sometimes from the boot camp are giving, here's what our plan is, what we're trying to improve. I'm almost kind of shocked by that. I kind of get would you agree? Do you think you're more of sort of when I'm within the team, I only care about what the team think? I'm not trying to sort of market myself as much.
I mean, I tried to be like that from the first day. My first interview, I think I said I don't care what people will say.
Okay.
It was, hey, I did a mistake. Okay, I invited everyone to test me, but I think that it's really hard to do all these interviews and then give away your real thoughts or what's the real problem inside the team, or maybe what you need to change and adapt. And sometimes I feel like when the coach is doing it, it is in a way that maybe he feels pressured by organization from inside, maybe he's pressured by community, maybe by players, maybe, like there's a lot of things that go from the psychological aspect. And when you don't give the good answer, like interesting one, you sound like you don't have a clue what we are talking about.
Sure.
So it's like you need to. I feel like it's also a beauty of esports nowadays that you kind of need to give something to get something back, and you just need to be very good at balancing during interviews.
So I was trying to go through this channel because obviously during your time in G2 as a coach, Taz, there were some not so nice things said about you, obviously, and you didn't have the YouTube channel to get on there and try to prove people wrong. We actually, I mean, we just hated on Hooksy a lot. I couldn't find a lot of Taz hates, but I did find some Taz hate on a bunch of other shows.
Okay.
So I'm just curious, though, everyone else has weighed in, Taz, on their opinion of you as a coach in your time on G2. How would you sum up your time on G2 and taking on the coaching role?
I, well, that's a long topic, but like starting from G2, I think it was a very brave decision to come in and coach G2. But before I started coaching, there was only one team I wanted to coach, and it was G2. It was because of the challenge and because of the characters that they had, like NiKo, Hunter, m0NESY, Hooksy, and it was before they had Nexa, right? They had JKS, and I really felt that I don't want this team to disband, the split, because I feel like there's a lot of things that they probably can be fixed inside the team and make this team win more and more. Because when you have a team that wins like Cologne and wins Katowice, this means that there is a lot potential in this team, and what you need to really take care of is the mental side way more than the aspect inside the game. And obviously, you need to keep up with meta, you need to keep up with tactics. But when I joined G2, I saw that they are really on top of meta and on top of like having the ideas. And actually, I was trying to find a lot of new stuff from the beginning. Like I tried to find this next steps where we can actually be first ones to use in CS2. But what I feel about myself, it's hard to, I don't want to, I will not rate myself because this would be pretty stupid. But I feel like we were competitive. When you think about all the things that we had inside the team, like all the changes that were coming and some of the news from players that maybe they're leaving or maybe there will be changes and stuff like that, and we managed to be competitive constantly. And a lot
Sure.
of games when you watched when we were losing to, I don't know, Mouse Sports, Navi, these were games like nail biters. These were games where we could, like 70-80% of these games we were in a position to win, and we gave it away in a very nasty manner. And even this year, when we had Ilya in the team, like at the beginning of the year, we had these games where we just couldn't believe how we are losing the rounds, and this comes down to mentality and some mental aspects, and sometimes it's really hard to push it through when you need to make decision about your future. You are struggling, and this is a very normal thing in sports, in esports, that you need to struggle in order to succeed.
Sure.
You just need to lose. If
Yeah.
you need to learn from losses, and I feel that this year we just didn't have time to learn, and I actually said to the guys that we need time to learn, and we were really close, and I think that Major also showed that we did a step up, in our game, and yeah, I feel like it was a good time and a great experience for me. I'm very
By the way,
grateful to everyone.
one reason I actually was interested to see what you would think yourself is, I actually do think you put yourself in a really tough spot, though, taking the G2 job. Because I'll give you actually a very good example. This happened to two people who were very famous talent. Moses went and coached Team Liquid during the COVID period. And before that, Yanko was coach of both MIBR and FaZe Clan. These are enormous teams. And the problem I know from knowing those guys is, if you want to be a coach and someone basically says, hey, actually, for your first job, you can just have one of the best teams in the world with all superstar players. Part of that's your dream. You want, in a weird way, you want to say, yeah, of course, and you hope it all just works out and it's awesome immediately. But it means, you, like you're saying about learning and making mistakes, you don't get any chance to make a mistake because since you join in a team with a giant name or big superstars, fans are going to expect you to immediately win. You're not going to get like time to build up or have failures and love. Like, actually, people expect you to basically already be the best coach in the world. And if you're not, you're going to get a lot of criticism. And I think those people did. I think you did as well, isn't it? It's tough because, as I say, I wouldn't turn the job down myself. That sounds like the best job you could be given, but it's a hard one to do as your first one as a coach, though, right?
I mean, the thing is, I wasn't thinking about, oh, I have a great team, like, oh, I have best players in the world. I thought about it, what an amazing challenge it is.
Right.
Because from the outside, I saw it will be a challenge. And, you hear all the rumors. It's the same, like, what people might say about me or any other player, right? Oh, this guy is like that and that.
Sure.
He's toxic. He has no idea what he's doing. Like, and then you join the team and like, hey, it's not like that, and it's kind of easier to work with, right? And before I joined G2, there like people were saying that NiKo is like toxic
Oh,
IGL
sure.
killer, like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so hard to work with him. And I feel like I was working with these kind of personalities, like back in the day, like in my Polish lineups, and
Sure.
it wasn't easy, Like VP was like a very explosive team inside, like a very different 5 players, and I felt like this is something I like to do. This is something I
Right.
know how to manage, But I didn't have the current meta knowledge, so I wasn't like going to the events, being accustomed to like taking a timeout, having like this 30 seconds of a timeout. I was always working in Polish, so besides streaming, which I was like. I put a lot thought into it. Like when I started streaming, okay, I can stream in Polish, I can stream in English. I need to stream in English if I want to have a chance in a team as a coach, because I need to get my CS English up and going. And then when I joined G2, I was like, oh, I'm so lucky that I was streaming for like half a year in
Right.
English. So definitely these things were the things I was afraid of, and I struggled, and I learned in this 1.5 year. So in the end, like it's really about players. It's not about what people say outside of the of your team. It's really about, are players going to trust you? Are you going to build this team that is going to trust each other, or there will be cracks? And the cracks are that you are going to read HLTV forum, or maybe you
Sure.
watch one
Sure.
or two podcasts of people who are actually in this moment trash talking your
Yeah.
player, your IGL, or maybe your coach, right? And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you respect these guys more than you respect your coach, then the crack will happen, and the loss will happen, and the lack of trust will begin to happen, and the team will slowly disband. So yeah, it's a lot about building this very hermetic team
By
inside.
the way, just for curiosity's sake, since it's hanging right there, since NiKo isn't in your team anymore, he plays in Falcons now, which as far as we know, you aren't going to be working for Falcons anytime soon. Can you give us some sense, as you say, from the outside, the rumor about NiKo is like, that's where all the IGLs get kicked if they play with him. He's some sort of difficult to work with. But what is different when you work with him? What surprised you, or what can you get why people have gotten this misunderstanding? Do you understand why it would get confused?
I think people got confused because it depends from what region you are coming from, right? Some regions are very quiet. They are very like they like to rather avoid any kind of discussions. Maybe they'll chime in something in like one-on-one with a player or behind the back. And there are players who just say out loud what they think, what they don't like, what they would like to discuss, and I think that's a personality that Nicola has, and he just don't like to leave any stone unturned. He wants to understand what's happening next. He likes to be on point in a lot of situations, and this makes him comfortable inside the game. And I remember even when it was coming to like CT, and calling on CT, I knew that he needs to be more responsible when it comes to CT. And I was pushing for it, that he needs to like be more, checking what the team is playing, like being more informed, so he will feel comfortable. And for example, I will feel comfortable not, pushing so much what to do. And I feel that this was the best NiKo I saw. Like when he was actually on point, like knowing a little bit of what the enemy is doing, trusting to what he also heard, and having hard discussions. And I cannot say it was always beautiful and easy, right? Because then there would be no success. For me, if it's easy, then you are not ready for the hard times. So I prefer to have it hard sometimes during practice and even after practice, and discuss things, or even have a small argument, than even big argument. But then when you go to the game and you are losing, let's say you remember World Finals, we lose 0-13. Yes, we had a small talk after the 0-13, like a small argument, like use the words that needed to be used. We come back, we smash. And it's like, because you are ready for this kind of discussions, because that's who for me NiKo is. And I think that the team we had in G2, like in last year, was a great team. When it comes to personalities, we had a very good balance when it comes to like, okay, we have strong voice and we have a weaker voice, and everyone is on the same page. And yeah, I'm just happy that I was able to be in this scenario, being able to work with Nicola and all the rest of the guys, because everyone was putting a lot of impact, even though not everyone could see it.
Was it rough for you? Because you mentioned there, like you wanted to coach G2 because of those players that were going to be in the mix. But I mean, the rumors had already started about, even though NiKo had turned down Falcons, there was a chance that he was going to be going there. Then obviously it comes out he is. Then you're going to lose m0NESY. I mean, for you, Taz, was that quite difficult when you're sitting there going, well, I came in here because I wanted to work with these guys, and now they're all leaving?
I mean, it's not only coming and wanting to work with these guys, but it's also G2 there's like a lot of expectations. There's a lot of like pressure from fans, from organization. This organization is targeted for wins. They want to win. But if you look before Katowice, like 2023, when they won Katowice Cologne, and at the end of 2022 they won Blast, they weren't winning that much.
No.
Like 2023, 2024 were the most successful years for G2 organization in Counter-Strike. And I think that what I don't know what was the reason that things were looking like that. That Nicola left, that Ilya decided to leave. Like I felt that it's also on me, because I was like unexperienced coach. But Nicola told me that it's like it's not because of me. So I was like, okay,
you give you, it's not you, it's me.
yeah, it's not you.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not
I've
you.
used that a
But
lot.
maybe it's maybe it was me. I don't know.
True.
But in the end, it sucks that now when I sit with you and I discuss all these topics, it's much different. It's easier for me, because it's like I have experience 1.5 year and as coach.
Yeah.
But it's like it was a big checkup for me, and now I could say, yeah, like after this couple events with ADSA standing, with Mario playing a different role, and not having Ilya around to have this star power. Yeah, and it's I know what we can do. Hey, we are here, right? It's,
Sure.
they also had the idea what they wanted to do, and I need to respect it, right? But it's just good to know that I got my experience. It just sucks that the team, wasn't successful after all these changes. Like I really wanted us to succeed after NiKo left, just to show that we can still perform and play good. But the whole narrative that was built around the team is that NiKo was calling a lot on CT, that he was the main caller, main voice. And it's not only coming from community, so it was coming from inside the team. And if you have a lot of this kind of comments from inside the team, it means there is a lot of doubt that can we do it, can we actually, everyone is saying that he was a huge voice. Yeah, guys, we need to keep it up for ourselves. Maybe I also shouldn't say things like that. But outside of the team that he was a big voice, like you need to somehow man up and take it on yourself to fix these things, not like give everyone the fuel to burn you, because that's
Sure.
what happened. Like we were constantly under pressure, that organization was under pressure, Ilya was under pressure. Like we didn't build the perfect scenario after what happened, 2024, which was like, imagine, I feel like it was one of the best, if not the best, year for G2 CS. Like when it comes to like being competitive in almost every tournament we
Yeah,
attended.
true. I mean,
And
people are
then,
going to think 2023 because of the Katowice and Cologne, but you're right. Not only did you win the two blasts, but you're in
I
the
mean,
semis of both
for me,
majors. There
listen,
was a chance, yeah.
I will always take 2023 over
Sure.
2024 because I was always about majors. I
Yeah,
was
of
always like
course.
the big events. Big events are the
Yeah.
ones that everyone will remember, I remember 1.6. Fnatic was owning. They had the most wins. Hey, we had the most majors, okay? Like, like
Yeah, it's true.
it's always you can talk like that. And I just feel that mm, it just sucks that we couldn't live up to the potential that we had.
I know what topic we need to talk about because this is what people want to hear. This is the real. When they see the title of the thread, this is what they want us to discuss, right? Which is, I alluded to it in the intro, but I think the two coaches that I put it this way, I know what broadcasts like, Taz. People don't accidentally press play on a button and cut it to a certain length. The broadcasts that knew that fans were hating on you and Zonic from Falcons, and so every time they released one of those, like, here's a moment from the timeout, they would always pick the moment that made it sound like you guys weren't doing anything. Like you were just saying something obvious, or famously the one where Zonic just didn't say anything, and then NiKo was like, "Oh, something" or whatever, and they tried to make this sound like they've exposed that you guys are frauds. But this is what I want to ask you about, Taz. Well, in your case, it was never even that you didn't say anything; it's that people thought you said something like that didn't mean anything. It was too obvious. Like famously, you said that you have to win the pistol or something like that, or we need to win some rounds now. Right? I have an angle on this I want to get your take on, which is I think it's really difficult to know the context of what anyone's saying on a timeout like that because we don't hear the whole timeout. Obviously, the part about tactics or when they just take a little sound bite, right? And what I always tell people is like in isolation, that soundbite might not be stupid. Like saying to someone, by the way, like we need to win the pistol round. That might sound obvious, but actually, this is exactly what all coaches do. Coaches tell you stuff in football, like defenders, stay back on the attackers, like let's play compact. You just say things that I wanted to get your take. What you must have heard some of these segments and whether you thought they were misconstrued or what. What's your sense for that? Like, was it unfair the way it was shown? What were you thinking on some of these segments? Give us kind of your perspective.
I mean, honestly, I don't care if it was fair
Okay.
or unfair, but
Okay.
like the thing that how I see it is that there are different things that actually fire up players. I heard that one of the players, like a major winner, got fired up when he heard that they will go to Korean barbecue after the game, right?
Okay.
Hey, if you get,
Okay.
and for me it sounded like
That's
okay,
mad. Yeah.
but if it's working, hey, it's working, right? And
Sure.
then you are thinking, okay, am I doing the right job that I'm trying to bring up this motivation speeches and stuff like that? And I really like to build up like good speeches, So for me, hey, that sucked, right? I take it on a chin. Like it wasn't the best, and like I told you at some point, like my English was something I was really working on and trying to get better. Like listening a lot of streams, listening a lot of like what coaches are saying and stuff like that, like to build up some of my vocabulary back again. But yeah, like you're not going to be perfect. Like we are not living in a world where you always hit the perfect stride, and sometimes your timeouts will be shit. Sometimes your calls will be shit, and sometimes it will be genius, right? But that's what's the most important. You need to have this 60-70% of good genius ones, and like 30 to even lower of bad ones, and then I think you are not bad inside the team. It's just as a coach, you should always be ready to call something.
Yes.
And in current meta, like not even in current meta, but I feel like in CS, like mentality, mindset, like this is the most important part.
For
So there
sure.
is a lot of timeouts where I would laugh, and I had the timeouts that I was asking guys, like, let's take a breather, okay? Like I was saying, hey, think about what you want to play, guys. Just relax a little bit. Don't think about anything else. Just breathe, okay? Because we are getting too stressed. We are making too fast decisions. Like, and it's really like millisecond, like decision that will change the whole round.
Sure.
So sometimes you, for example, play against a worse opponent, right, on paper, and you are very sure of yourself that you will win, and then you are losing 0-5. And trust me, the game is so fucking fast.
Sure, exactly.
It's suddenly they are insane. Suddenly,
Yes.
my mechanics are terrible. They are unbeatable. You take a timeout, don't do anything, 30 seconds, and your brain is resetting, guys. Like in tennis, like I had some meetings back in the day when I was in VP, like with sports psychologists, very very good one, and he told me I don't remember. I remember Artur, a Polish guy. Hey, yeah, we don't hate on Polish guys. And he told me that CS resemble him a lot from tennis. That you get this like 3 seconds breaks that you can like reset a little
All
bit,
right.
5 seconds to take a breather, like maybe 15, 20
Yeah.
seconds, and then this is enough for your brain to actually reset, right? So I had this in back in my head, but there is a lot of things as a coach that you can help with. But
Sure.
yes, you'll not always pick the
Yeah.
right tool.
No, a couple of things on that. One is, first of all, that's an aspect I always thought people were really unfair to Taz from, which is, as a player, Taz was in a lot of really legendary matches where his team had to like come back from a big deficit, or the other team was playing the best CS ever. And in those moments, like actually, it might be more valuable to just take a breather in the timeout than to do success. What I think people were doing that was unfair to you and Zonic is they were acting like all the timeouts are for is for like downloading tactics into the brain of the in-game leader, and that you're supposed to. They want it to be like a fucking the Queen's Gambit, and you're going to go like, what you need to do is do the knight to rook move. Like they all want it to be like some movie script moment. Whereas, as you're saying, actually, in that moment, by the way, think about some of the players you have, like NiKo and m0NESY. You're not telling them how to play CS. Sometimes it might just be like, let's get out of our own heads. Like I know, by the way, I even think I know what you meant, Taz, by that one of like we have to win some rounds. That's actually what I said on a podcast. I said that sounds obvious until you realise that if I am playing as a big favourite and I'm playing a small team that's won a couple of rounds on me, it's actually very easy as the favourite to think, oh, we'll get him eventually. Whereas actually, you might need someone to remind you, like, bro, we have to start winning rounds now, or the game will get away from us. It's MR12. Like, before we know it, we'll be down like 3-9, then the game will be over. They win the pistol. Like, actually, sometimes something as simple as like, hey, like, basically get your head back in the game. That might actually be the most important thing you could say in that 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, but trust me, like this event, we are fully disconnected, and
Fair enough.
like I
Fair
don't
enough.
like, like whatever I would say, even if I would like swap with Blade, and Blade was behind us like from the beginning of the event, like we were not there, like we were not
Right.
present mentally, and
Right.
like we just beat Navi after losing to them like 10 in a row. I think G2 lost like 10,
Yeah, yeah,
10
it was
times in a
loads,
row,
yeah.
and then we won against them, and we go to Rio, and we messed up a little bit with scheduling, but that's on my part. It was like one day
All
messy.
right.
Okay, hey, stop, don't hate me. And then at the event, like what I loved the most is not the games, but what we did after the games. Like we instead of like leaving the event and like being scattered and surrendering, like we gathered up in a room. We made one exercise with the guys, and I was really happy with how we everyone was like focused. Everyone wanted to take part in the exercise. Like we went through what was good, what's bad with inside the team, and I will just tell you one thing. What I loved about it, I told the guys the only thing you can say is thank you. So there was no arguments, there was no talking like, hey, no protecting, no discussions, no,
Right.
like straight up with what's wrong. And I was taking part in it. I was always taking part in that process where if you guys think that I'm messing up with something, if you think that I can get better at something, hey, hit me up. I was always like in front, like you can start with me, just tear me up apart. And then we won Blast World Finals, right? Next, and we were pretty good in Shanghai. I think the pressure got to us, and Robs got to us.
Sure.
But yeah, I was really proud of how we managed to deal with all the pressure, all the
Okay.
expectations, like all the situation. Like it's so hard. Like I can't stress this enough. It is extremely hard. to deal with a player who's leaving, and you are not building for future.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
for me and for everyone who's in sports. Everyone will understand that, and even in life, what we are doing here, right? Podcast, or no, it's not
Yeah.
podcast, it's podcast. But it's like, you are building for future. It's something which is building for something bigger that you want to achieve, right? And the same goes inside the team. You are building for next half a year. Like, you don't think like major only. You think Grand Slam. You think legacy. Like, you need to build up the steps that constantly fuel you, so you will never lose like your motivation, or you will not lose your sight, or you stop practicing because you lost one event or one game. No, you have a bigger picture, and it's like, with this mentality you can actually do great things, right? And you can lose, but if you have limited time, every loss is like cutting a
Oh,
finger,
sure.
and we managed to finish our run uh, in style. Even though we lost the semifinal, I feel like we finished in style.
I want to touch on what Thorin mentioned there about the Queen's Gambit, and I think it kind of feeds into what you were saying as well. Do you think, like, in modern day competitive Counter Strike, that fans have a misunderstanding about the coach's role? Because I do think these days there's this like very strong attitude of, if the team is playing badly, it's all the coach's fault, and then it's the IGL's fault. But there's 5 players in a team. And I mean, as the coach, Taz, you could call a timeout and you could tell everyone what to do. But when the next round starts, none of that really matters. And I feel like there's a lot of hate towards coaches these days, but there isn't a look at the fact that, like, there is an entire group of players there, and all the coach really does is guide them, if you like.
I mean, I will always prefer to be hated by fans than my players to get hated. It's like, I also can take it way more than other people, because I took some hate, so
That's true.
I don't mind some love.
Fair.
I mean, it's not like I love to get, I don't love pain, but I feel like coach is a guy who should always step forward. For me, like, you shouldn't be afraid of getting hated on HLTV forum, even though in modern times, this can actually cost you a job. This can
Yeah, yeah.
actually cost you a
Yeah.
future in esports if you don't manage to accumulate some of the supporters, right? Or on forums, or maybe on podcasts on analysis desks, then it might be your death, and that's sports. Maybe that's how it is. I would love it to change at some point, because I think that in the end it's like a team sport. But what I was thinking lately is that it doesn't even matter how good you prepare for the game, because before you go to the event, you prepare with the team, you prepare maps, you prepare tactics, you go through certain situation scenarios, you have goals on practice, and we had situations that we were winning everything, almost everything, and
Oh,
we
you win
lost.
all the scrims, right? I see.
Yeah,
Right.
and then we were losing screams, but suddenly we
So when you win the
were
event,
playing really good.
of course, of course.
So it's in the end, it's about team and how you manage to build a team approach to practice. I personally think that it's much better to lose in practice. And actually, I lately read No Tail, the Dota 2
Oh, okay. The OG guy, yeah.
champion. Yeah. Book. Actually, a very good book. He was winning a lot. Congrats. And he said that before the TI, I don't know if it was TI 8 or TI 9, they lost 10 times in a row against Team Liquid, like on practice. And they're like, fuck, they are so good. We need to do something with it. And thanks to these beatings, they were ready, and they managed to win
Right.
the whole TI.
Right.
So, it's always better to lose, but when you lose, you need to really take this like seriously, and you need to take care of practice very serious when you are getting beatings, and you need to understand, okay, when we are losing because we are not shooting, and when we are losing when we are not actually understanding the meta, or we are not good as a team. So sorry. So yeah, for me, it's all everything starts from practice, and then during the game day, you can have the best preparation. But in the end, what is important, like how players will play. Maybe you whiff one time or two times, and everything goes to to shit, and you cannot say, oh, it's because this guy we lost. No, because you have a lot of rounds, and we practice. So I always tell my guys that, hey, I don't care if you get 2 kills here. I need us to be good when we lose a guy here. I need us to be good with 1 kill. I need us to understand how we want to move on the map, and not think about we can get multi kills. If you are winning practice games because someone is doing 3 kills every round, or someone is clutching like 4 rounds in a row, that's shit. Like,
It's
yeah,
not going to
multi
do
kills
anything.
is so
Yeah.
good, but you want to win and you want to feel okay. That's team. That's we are going to win when we are on our bad day.
Oh, by the way, the funny thing is that's also even Taz's career, because if you don't remember, in CSGO, Virtus Pro on the internet could lose to anyone in those ESL Pro leagues, any 5 players. But if they went to the LAN, they'd like be challenging for the major. That was like, you guys must have had that the whole time, mate.
I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how.
Oh, you see, you've also got a problem as well, which is the meme from football that everyone uses for coaches and managers, is they call them bald fraud. Well, you've already halfway there, aren't you? So
You're
there's
halfway.
always going to be a bad angle for you, mate. It's always going to be a bad
I mean,
angle.
I don't know. I mean, HOTV already retired me, so
Okay.
it's like, hey, I don't know if I'm halfway. Hopefully, hopefully there is a way back,
By
but
the
we
way,
will see.
just to confirm that, Taz isn't joking when he says that. In the modern day, by the way, it's the same for analysts. People do care what like Reddit says, what HLTV, but it's in your case, if you're in a team like G2, they care what the fan base generally thinks. If they feel like the fan base, even if it's in League of Legends, same thing happens with Fnatic. If the team isn't winning and the fan base's expectations are we're supposed to win, eventually, if the fans keep saying it's the coach or a star player or something, that player is going to go because they all wants to make people happy. They want people to feel like we got another chance. So, did you feel like was that pressure there? Could you sense it?
Definitely, there was a pressure from outside. If community feel that I'm not doing good, or maybe I'm a vibe coach, and then they feel like, okay, we need to make a change because maybe players don't want to come to us. Maybe it's a bad picture for sponsors, right? And we are not protecting. We cannot protect him anymore, right? We need to change. Hey, then I understand that. But I think it's very important to notice that. I mean, I care as well what people say and what they think, but it's just I will never take opinions of fans or opinions of people that I wouldn't ask for. How do you say? I don't
Advice
know.
as well.
Advice, yeah. To heart. I need to protect my team and I need to
Yeah.
protect my idea of how to do things, and that's what I meant by saying I don't care, right? But in the end, we are all humans, and
Yeah, of
everyone
course.
want to have recognition. And when you are not doing good, like you deserve the hate, right? But I don't necessarily think that it's always validated by information from
No,
what
no.
is happening in reality.
By the way, obviously, when I ask this, I don't mean are you only a vibes coach, but are you actually, is an element of your game trying, I mean, you were saying mentality is a big deal. Is
Mm.
vibes a big part of it to you, Lord? Is that important?
I mean, vibes. It sounds really messy because if you look at football, like you have Guardiola. Is Guardiola a vibes coach? Like he's very like
Sure.
he's showing a lot of emotions. Like
Yeah,
a lot of
true.
coaches showed a lot of emotions during the games, and this is something that people love about them, right? And
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
esports, I feel like people hate it, and it means that someone is stupid. So, I mean, I think that it's a matter of how you put it and what you repeat. Like if you repeat that this is bad, this looks bad, then people will buy in and they will think that this is actually lack of knowledge or like the only thing you can do. But responding to your question, like I believe that, like what I said, like mentality is a huge aspect. So yes, at the first step, I will put team chemistry, and I'll try to build a team around team chemistry and having a player comfortable in their positions as much as I can put them comfortable, right? and discuss with them how much I can actually bend them the way they like to play for them to still feel comfortable and feel that they are making impact. And it's very hard to find the players, find players that are that they don't really care about
Sure.
what they are doing in the team, and they have very good feeling no matter where you put them, because there are players who are naturally anchors, right? There are players who are not naturally lurkers, but what is lurker, right? You have a guy who's going alone, and now you need to understand what kind of lurker we have. Do we have a lurker that is passive and is actually not going to make a lot of impact, or you have a lurker that likes to be proactive, and you kind of need to play with it more than you would play with the other guy, right? And both are good if you know how to use them in the game. It's just a matter of a tactic and understanding what kind of pieces you have in a team. And to understand what pieces you have in a team is like, first, yeah, you can make an interview with players and you can ask them what they like to do. But a lot of times a player will say, I like to do this, but they will be better at doing something else.
Yeah.
And you need time to see if it's actually working, or you need to sit down. What is the knowledge of a player? Like, is he actually interested in watching demos alone, or maybe you need to spend time more with the player and learn him how to play a game. And there are players who, for example, like to be hyper aggressive. Like these star players like to be very aggressive. And sometimes these guys don't really know how to play maybe positional Counter Strike, like playing passive and letting everyone else die, and then they finish the game, right? So these are aspects that you learn by being around the team, and not only by talking with players. And you need time, but
One thing you don't
esports,
get. Yeah.
you
No
don't get
time.
time. So you need. It's very, it's very unforgiving sport. But yeah, it's that's why we love it, and that's why it's high risk, high reward.
You keep bringing up the mental aspects and like managing the mental of players and the mental in the team. I mean, how equipped do you think you were as a coming into a coaching role, and also like how equipped do you think most coaches are now? Because it feels like to me that there's a lot of like young guys who are players and who have not had the career you've had, Taz, as players. Like they were mediocre players at best, and now not only are they coming into a team where they have to do strats and obviously the actual in the server work, but managing the mental of a bunch of guys, are they really qualified to do that? Do you think that that is a new thing that coaches have to do that may be quite difficult for a lot of them?
I mean, I spoke with a handful of coaches, from tier one, and I think that there is a lot of guys who are really good, like at understanding what are the things that you need to take care of inside the team. But I don't have I don't know how they work. I don't know their background, like what they give to the team, like where did they learn it, how did they learn it. Like for me, I can tell you that when I was a player, like in all the games, we didn't have like so much stuff behind us. So you
Oh,
had to
sure.
be your own mental coach. You had to
Yes.
be your own manager. You had to be your, uh, whoever you need to be. You were, and the main thing I was always doing is trying to hold my team together. And I think that I managed this pretty good with VP, and even back in the in PGS. I believe that I didn't do a shit job with G2. I gave my all. Like it wasn't enough in the end, but it's not something I will say that I'm not proud of. I am. I'm definitely happy with all the guys I was working with. I don't care if it was hard or easy. Like it was so interesting, and it was a great experience for me. I didn't expect that I can get even more than from the last year. So when it comes to like mental aspect, I thought that I'm pretty well fit to take care of certain aspects, and some things actually surprised me, right? That I had to learn, and I'm happy with it. But when it comes to the game, I can tell you that even back in the day, I was doing like the fundamentals. I wasn't the guy who liked the flashy plays and create like flashy tactics. This was snacks. Snacks love to do like this
Right.
crazy things, like guys, throw me 3 smokes here, and I will just go with a flash, and you go B right on Inferno. Okay, let's do it. Fine. And you were trying to find the nades. Maybe he had them prepared. I was more about the fundamentals. So I was more about, okay, I want my default to look like that. I don't want anyone to go outside of this box when we practice, because how I felt is that if you have a good practice and you have a good fundamentals, then during official you always do something extra. You always do something extra. So you need to have some boundaries that you actually know where you can step out. But yeah, it's like going inside the detail. Like I don't think I should that much, because it's also like the way I like to work. But we will see. Maybe in half a year I'll be here and I'll be saying everything, because I'll
Okay.
be finally, I will
Yeah, it could be.
do this again, and
Okay. By the
we'll
way, along
see.
those
We'll
lines,
see.
though, one thing you're saying, Sam, and one thing I do think a lot of people who haven't coached the top players and like the HLTV top 20 type star names is there's a lot of people who've been really good coaches in tier 2 and at the bottom of tier 1 and with, unknown players that have achieved success. But a lot of those people will get chances eventually, by the way, to coach like G2, massive teams. Some of them will fail. And I'll tell you one reason they will fail. It's because since they're used to working with the equivalent of like schoolboys who do whatever they're told, or, players that haven't got the chance yet to have a big ego, I can tell you one of the hardest things for those coaches is going to be to say no. Because when you have a guy who's like one of the best players in the whole world, it's easy to think, oh, if I make him happy, then the whole team's great. In fact, sometimes that might be to the detriment of the team. Is that a challenge, do you think, Taz? I mean, I know within VP you could certainly say no to people, but is it a
I mean, I
challenge to be the
can
coach?
I can tell you that was a challenge for me, because like from the beginning, I was like, okay, I need to learn, but there's also a demand of me making a little bit like an impact in a team, right? But in the end, like when you have guys who just won a lot of like big events like Katowice, Cologne, you're like, okay, guys, I will listen. I want to learn, right? And I don't want to be a guy who like destroy something, right? So gradually, I was, evolving and trying to make more and more impact, definitely. But in the end, like it's really hard to say no when you are not the guy who's like building up a team. Like imagine Mouse Sports, Cyclone. Like he was building a team, Mouse Academy, right? And
Oh, for
then
sure, yeah.
he is now in Mouse. He has a lot of respect from the players from the start, and he was basically maybe learning some of them how to approach the game
Yeah.
from both mentally and from Counter-Strike itself. But you also have coaches who come in the team with a high, not ego, but like, with players who has like big ego, big characters, and you need to find your space. And the demand is, hey, you need to put your system in. I don't believe it's working. I don't believe that without the respect from players, you can
Right.
come in and as a coach who they don't respect, that you come, put your system, and it will work. Why? Because eventually you will start losing, and when you are losing, that's when everything gets checks up, and players will doubt, and then you discuss, and it needs to be at least at some levels. You need to have the same understanding with players and what you want to achieve and what's the direction. And if you have it, if you have trust, then you can build things. But I don't think that it's like CS is about coach doing everything for players. I actually think that yes, you have great possibilities to look and help. Okay, this timing is off. This rotation should be better. Like we are not gathering together. We are doing a lot of solo plays. You can go with this way, but players need to study demos. They need to work on their craft, and it's not about joining deathmatch or going aim up. It's about like actually evolving and working together. So mainly, I feel nowadays, because we don't have internet cafes, and it's all about us sitting in home and talking to monitor, we lack social skills.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we
For
lack
sure.
openness. So when we are struggling, we need to go to, for in my opinion, to coach, right? And in some teams, you have more than a coach, right? And sometimes you just don't have enough power to go through everyone and talk with the guy that can actually make an impact. And I just feel like that's about how to build a good team. You just need to be connected with the team as a coach.
I want to think about how to word this, but it must be frustrating because since we've been speaking now for a while, I get the impression you are that old school of like you keep it all in as the coach. You kind of take on any of the negativity coming from the crowd, keep everything in the locker room, like Thorin said at the beginning. How frustrating is it as a coach then when you have players doing interviews at events, doing tell-alls before they leave, when you've got management going on podcasts, kind of spewing out all of
Oh,
that
sure.
stuff. And you as a
Sure.
coach are desperately trying to keep your
Sure.
players in the right mental space to perform and not be affected by all of that noise.
I think it's about being professional. Like for me, I can tell you that it wasn't easy to keep everything inside, and even though I knew a couple events earlier what will happen, inside G2, that I will not be in G2, like I was like, okay, I have two ways to deal with it, right? I can just relax and fake that I'm trying to do something, get my paycheck, go get try and get some wins, or I can actually try hard. I can try to change a little bit of my approach, try to listen to the voices, what's not good, and see if I will improve. And I decided to go the second way. And for me, like I if you know it's easy to go out and say what you think and write that, hey, why you it's not really about the vibes, or like, it's if people say these things, it means that maybe they see it, or maybe there is truth in it, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you need to take it, and you need to just think about it, and maybe approach it from the way, okay, should I change it? How can I change it, right? And then you move on. It's just an experience. If you take it in and hate on everyone, it's not good. And I've been there. Trust me, I've been there. Like I'm a guy who always puts 100% of heart. Like I don't leave anything outside. Like I love my players. I will go to work for my players. I will sacrifice for them. I sacrifice my family for a team that I am in, and I don't regret the time, because I know what I'm signing for, right? And I just want my team to be on the same page, because I know that if I have a team that is 100% in, and we fully trust each other, great things will happen. I just know, because I've been a part of this sport for so many years, and I feel like we had some success, from 1.6 CS:GO to CS2, and I know that future can be also very successful.
By the way, that also feels like a difference in generations, though, because like as we're talking about, in some of the teams you played in, I mean, if no one's ever seen it, by the way, if anyone thinks NiKo is bad, just go and look up translations of what they were saying in Taz's Polish teams. They were just calling each other like fucking pigs and stuff during the timeout, like it was crazy. But that's very direct, like you're saying, you can solve that problem immediately because you know exactly what the guy's thinking. But I know
Hey,
what you mean, because if I look at some of these interviews recently, Taz, some of them were when people left, some of them were when people were about to leave. They were like doing that thing where it's like they don't overtly just say, "Oh, this person's to blame." They just sort of like softly hint at like maybe that person's not a good idea, or maybe there's a problem. And I think that's sort of a bit weak, because it's like that person on some of them, like you say, they must be thinking some of that. That must be part of how they're seeing the world. But it's like you're now you yourself as the player are sort of just saying that to the fans as well. It's like it's not me though, it's this person here. I thought that was a bit whack, mate. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I will not rate it, but I think that also when you are in esports as a player or coach, it's a very small community. Tier
Sure.
one, there is not many teams. Tier two, actually, there's also not so many teams, even though it's much bigger than was in the past. And you have families nowadays. There's a lot of money involved, right? So in the end, like a lot of like sometimes being a guy who's like a team player, like it's a little bit of suicide. You take a bullet for everyone, but in
Right.
the end, like you hear, hey, there's no friendship in esports, right?
They're protecting themselves. I see what you
And
mean.
like
Right. Right.
yeah, and in the end, like for me, it's like I really want to build a friendship. I really want to build this true chemistry. I don't want to build bullshit, you know, because I know that on bullshit you will never put anything that can actually stand, you know, and yeah, that's just how I approach. And some of my interviews were shit. Like even as a coach, like I tried to build this mentality that we are unbreakable, that we will destroy everyone. Like I try to live up to the hype that we had back in the day. But hey, nowadays social media, now the players how they go in, it's not the same thing, you know. Like back in the day, we were like, okay, let's fight through it, but there were not so many followers, you know. There were not
True.
so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
podcasts, analytics, you know,
Yeah.
like commentators. Like, God damn, man, you do one mistake, you do
Yes.
No
you are
one
getting
forgets.
fucked.
Of
10
course.
do 10 mistakes, you're done. You're
Yeah.
done because you are the food nowadays.
Yes.
You are either a food of success, which for me is vitality nowadays.
For sure.
What Apex is doing, what Zio is doing, you know, like um, I can say every name like Robs, Flames, m0NESY, like I have Xtaz. I think that he's underappreciated, but overall, like, and you have the losers food, right? So it's really hard if you are a loser's food, you know. It's really tough.
I've
But
got a
hey,
question that's
but
an
hey,
obvious one. Go
I've
on.
been on two
Go
ways.
on.
I mean,
True.
we won and we lost. So thank
You've
you.
had both.
You've
Yeah.
been on
Yeah.
other
All right.
side, yeah.
Should, with one of the rosters, you could pick with the roster last year, should you have won the major? Do you think that was a reasonable expectation?
Yes. If we had this roster for longer, I would say we had a bigger chance. I would not say we would have won because I said it in some other interview.
Okay.
I need to fix it. I would say we would have much better chance against FaZe or like any other team because pressure, it's last game. It might be last game, and now if you know that you go to the next year
Right.
with this lineup and everyone
Right.
is doing like changes. Imagine that Vitality is doing the change and we have this lineup that we had. It's like, hey, it's going to be fucking exciting. Let's
Yeah.
smash them, right?
Absolutely.
It's like you are excited because you didn't change. You finally like getting a understanding of how we want to play. Like you trying to mesh up, and trust me, it's not easy. You know, like I said in one interview that I feel like Snacks is calling really good. Like he's very unpredictable, as a IGL. But it's also not easy for players to follow up sometimes,
Sure.
So if you have experienced guys like we had, like we will actually be really, really strong. But this year it was a little bit harder. And I still think that he did a great job. We had, I think, like around 60% on T side.
Oh, fair enough.
So so I think there's definitely there will be a potential.
So now you're not the coach anymore. So you can put on an analyst hat, which means, Taz, you can say whatever you want, right? Because that's the joy of being an analyst. What do you think of the current G2 rebuild
What?
as we're seeing it
Ooh.
right
But
now?
why you retire me as well? Like HO3 retired me, please. Hey,
He still
I'm
wants to
still
be a coach.
in,
Yeah. He
okay?
wants the gig.
Hey, call me. Okay?
You got
Yeah.
I want to prove myself.
5 minutes as an analyst, then we'll send you back to coaching. But you can
Okay.
give us your
Whoa.
thoughts on the G2 rebuild.
What I think about G2 rebuild and what we know. What was the official thing that we know?
Swords and Pius joiner, isn't that it at the moment?
Yeah, and I
It's
think
still no one
Snacks
knows about the Kaspersky and Snacks is removed. Apparently, isn't that it?
Snacks is removed
Uh,
today, I think.
I
They're
think that they
recording.
actually also confirmed the Cologne lineup. I think that Mattis left Fnatic, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I mean, I think that's interesting. It's a lot about for me how Hunter, like how Nema will handle going to IGL. Like I think that he has a good work ethic to deal with it, and he's very good with people. So there are very good things for him. And yeah, it's just I don't know how he'll handle like going like whole game as IGO because he was doing pistols and he was doing some really good prep, but I know it wasn't that easy, to make it. So we need to see how the chemistry will be between Saw and Hunter. We need to see how much trust they will get from organization, how much trust they will get from community. Like, hey, I mean, I got I got high expectations, from Saw. Like I will not lie, I have high expectations. So I'm going to definitely watch the games. I think they have potential. I think Mario is insane still. Um, Nikita is really good on Anchor, like, and he was developing since he joined us. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them play. But yeah, it's not going to be easy, definitely, because they have like 10 days or something before the next event, and I don't think community will be waiting for them to get ready.
No, they're never allowed to get ready anymore. They have to just
Look
perform right out
how
of the gate.
soft analyst I am.
Yeah, you were very kind. I'm curious if you would feel the same if you were coaching a team and going up against them. Then I'd love to hear your opinions
You
as
have
well.
to be in the team.
From
Then
that
you want to know
side.
what he says. I want to know. Here's
Hey,
the thing: the real spice is what he says to the players before they go out on stage. I bet he says some straight fire shit behind the stage.
Hey, I think I would say more than let's get some rounds.
Right. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I won't say, I won't lie. I would love to get back and play against G2. Like, just I'm this type of a player. I was this type of a guy always. Like, I love the small grudge games. I love the small,
Yeah.
extra motivation aspects. Like what Kobe Bryant, like, rest in peace, or Michael Jordan, like the way they approached their games. This is what fuels me, and that's what
Okay.
I loved always to use as a fuel for my teams. Like when we lost 0-13 against Liquid, the whole tournament, I was repeating this. Like, let's show what happens to other teams when the G2 loses 0-13. Like, you don't poke the bear, And like, I love to get this, and now I have some fuel, I would love to use it.
So we're
But
definitely going
I
to see
wish
you as a
sorry,
coach soon.
I wish them the best. I
Okay.
don't want to hold
Yeah,
any
of course.
grudges, because I was this idiot back in the day. I hold a lot of
Right.
grudges. I don't want to be this guy. Sorry.
It's good that you corrected that right then. But I mean, so that's the goal, right? We are going to see you back in the coaching position, hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon, but I don't think that I will be coaching anyone at the start of the season.
Fair
So
enough.
hey,
There we go.
I'm wishing everyone all the best, but if it's not going your way, I'm here.
You're
Hey.
here, you're available, and you could do podcasts until that time.
I mean, it's very delicate, and Thorin knows that. I'm a talker. And I was learning. Actually, that's one of the biggest things I
Sure.
was learning as a coach nowadays. That you need to be way more of a listener as a
Yes.
coach, and that's a big, big, big perk that I got to learn being in G2 last 1.5 year. That you need to learn to listen more than you talk. Yeah. So it's scary to talk.
Well, here's the other
So
thing
for
as
now,
well.
until I retire, this kind of invitation, hey,
Sure.
thank you.
No, here's the
But
thing though.
but
The thing is, Taz,
bigger things, I
you
skip.
also have the difference that when you were a player, first of all, you were one of the better players. Like you can also like talk trash in an interview, but then you can go in the game and do it. Like if
Yeah.
you're the coach, you don't always have control over that. You can say something amazing before, but maybe the players play badly. It's not as simple. Like
I mean, it's the worst part as being as a coach that you can't really trash talk. You can't really trash talk because your players are going to
yeah, exactly. They're the ones who
play
have to
for
take
you,
it.
so you don't. You want the players, like you want your Apex, you want your Carrigan to do the trash talk.
Yes.
Taz, thank you so much for joining us. Thorin, as
Thank you.
always, thank you as well. And to everyone watching this, please don't listen to Taz. We don't want you to listen. We want you to talk in the comments. Let us know what you think.
Okay.
And we'll be back soon for another episode.